Thanks a lot.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bente Svenskerud, and I'm coming from Oslo, from Linderud School in Groruddalen. It's a famous place for immigrants. And we have an inclusive schools, both for children with disabilities and immigrants. And today I will focus on the immigrants and inclusion of all the immigrants from all over the world. I'm working as a school counselor at Linderud, which is located in Groruddalen, as I told you, and this is a very popular area for immigrants. I have been working with minorities for about 25 years at 2 different schools. And Linderud has about 640 pupils, and is both a primary and a secondary school from 6 to 16. It is a complex group, this, consisting of about 85% minorities and only 15% Norwegians. And they represent about 50 different languages. They have all their different backgrounds when it comes to language, schooling, culture, and social status. And several of them are contributing to a high degree of mobility. They often have big families. Several of them have from 4 to 6 children. They do not own their own apartments, and they are often renting their housing. It's also a problem that several families occasionally travel to their home countries and stay away for extended periods without any kind of schooling. And when coming back, they have lost a lot. So we have great challenges to work with at our school. And inclusion has been our school vision for about 20 years now. It's a school for both students with special needs and for minorities, students from around the world. Inclusion is a very great topic and deals with many different conditions. At Linderud, we see this as a challenging area. We are working systematically and hard, and we both succeed and fail. And we are constantly reflecting about our work and discussing how to find new ways to go. The key to success and to get included in a new society is the language. It's not just for the students the language is important, but also for their parents. This is about being good role models for their kids. It means a difference if the parents speak Norwegian and understand what it means to have their children in a Norwegian school system. Unfortunately, is the fact that some of the families are living isolated with a gap to the Norwegian society. Though we recommend them what they could do, they could go to language courses, etc., it's finally up to themselves and their own choices. So we see the importance of having active parents who make efforts themselves to get included. When we get new students throughout the year, we always have receiving interviews with their parents to get information about their backgrounds and to inform them about their duties by having children at our school. The teachers have to be very clear on what they require of them. We tell them that we have high expectations to them all. At the same time, we try to show that we care about them, work to develop good relationships with them together with a high degree of respect. This requires a great balance of cooperation. We call it the loving gap, the loving whip, sorry. In the beginning of the 20s, researchers found too poor academic results of several of the minority students in Oslo. The politicians took this seriously and decided to attend a pilot project for 3 years. For Oslo, this meant a new common curriculum in Norwegian, common for all students, whether they were native Norwegians or foreigners. This plan was introduced in 2006 and was initially supposed to last for 3 years. In Oslo, we are still working under this curriculum. It says that minority pupils have to learn Norwegian through the different subjects. The subjects should be the basic of learning new words, concepts, expressions, and language. This is quite different from the rest of the country that have to learn Norwegian separated from the subjects. This decision is recorded in Article 2.8 in our Education Act. It says that minority students needing additional training in Norwegian are entitled to become extra resources. This is financed from the state government and given to all schools in Oslo having minority students. We call this special Norwegian. At Linderud, we have 320 pupils getting this resource, which means more money for the school. And it's up to each school how they choose to organize to get the best learning results. At Linderud, we have chosen to have 10 more teachers and smaller groups consisting from 15 to 20 pupils. In this way, it will be easier to meet individual needs, facilitate and implement good academic programs. To find out if a student belongs to a 2-8 group or not, the teachers have to use different kinds of testing and mapping. The municipal of Oslo has decided to have an extensive use of testing, which is compulsory for all schools. We have national tests, state assessment tests, the so-called Oslo tests, in addition to the local ones at each school. Those students needing further training in vocabulary and concepts are offered this through courses in groups. Each pupil has to be assessed constantly to find out if they still should be a 2-8 or quit it. Our experience is that it takes about 5 to 7 years to develop a Norwegian language that enables the students to perform well in school. It's important to emphasize that the 2-8 decision not is compulsory. It's an offer which has to be accepted from the parents. This complex and mixed group of students put great demands on the teachers. They have to facilitate to obtain a good education for both learning Norwegian and subjects. It is important to be precise and work systematically and having the focus on vocabulary and concepts all the time. The teacher has to know the students' prerequisites and build the training from that level. In every lesson, the teacher has to use visualizing aids to ensure understanding and achieve learning. The pedagogical NACE model to Øzek, he is a professor, an immigrant himself, who has researched extensively on how minority students learn, is central here. This model emphasizes the importance of continuous visualization for grades from the 1st to the 10th. When introducing new topics in school, in the classroom, the teacher has to represent at least 2 of the following ways, like NACE recommend. And this can be, the word NACE stands for, each letter stands for a word. N is the natural representation. You bring objects to the classroom. The teacher brings objects to get the pupils to understand. The E, inactive, representing with drama, action, the I, iconic, representation by pictures, illustrations, and the CS, symbolic, representation by synonyms, antonyms, and so on. At the same time, it is important to have a strong focus on learning strategies, such as mind mapping is recommended. Each student had to learn how to learn, for example, what to do when it turns up new words they don't know. And it's important to mention that students from the 2nd to the 10th grade without Norwegian language skills are recommended to go to a reception class or a literacy class if they can't read and write. This lasts for approximately 1 year, sometimes and very rare 2 years. Then they have to go to another school for a limited period because Linderud does not have such classes. Students from the 5th grade belonging to this category have to be tested at the language center before being placed in any class to ensure the best type of schooling. The school starters at the 1st grade are excluded from this offer. Most of them have been to the kindergarten or the pre-primary school for at least 1 year, except some few who starts without any Norwegian skills. Regarding those school starters, we have a close cooperation throughout the year before starting in school with if they have any special needs. It is an important routine to get all the new students tested during the first 2-3 weeks after startup, no matter what grade they should start. Concerning pupils from the 1st to the 4th grade, it is always used a particular standardized test called NSL, Norwegian Learning Language. Students showing inadequate skills in Norwegian are offered an intensive Norwegian course, NISK. This is an intensive, systematically language program lasting for 8 weeks. The pupils are then organized in groups of 4 to 6 members, meeting 4 hours a week, 1 per day, beyond regular school time, half an hour before and half an hour after regular timetable. Another important factor for developing Norwegian language is the library. Linderud has a well-equipped school library with a permanent librarian who at any time knows reading level of each student and in this way is able to recommend the appropriate literary books. Our professional storytellers visiting the various student groups regularly also help to stimulate the language development. An important part of my job, in cooperation with the teachers, is to tell parents the necessity of sending their children to leisure activities, like football, hockey and handball, to arenas where they meet students, including Norwegian, at the same age, and get the chance to stay together with good language models. At school, we try to use the break time to organize games and activities. We have activity leaders among the pupils, leading at least 5 different activities during break time. All students then can participate in those. It tells everyone to join in the play and feel included. From the 1st to the 5th grade, the parents have the possibility to send their children to OX, which is an activity school after school time. You can look upon it as part of a whole day school. OX has a learning and a language supporting activities which give the possibility to social interactions, physical training, playing and expanding vocabulary. Unfortunately, this offer costs money. It should have been free, full-time school for everyone. Our newcomers would have profited on that. In these days, we have a culture happening at our school, which we have been arranging for once a year for almost 10 years now. About 100 students from the 5th to 10th grade are taking part in this. They can choose between acting, drama, singing or dancing, and they are all picked out from an audition. Before this festival, the students themselves are taking part in writing lyrics and sewing costumes. All the students really enjoy this happening and perform on stage in front of many spectators. Students that not succeed in school and subjects with low language skills really enjoy such activities. And the festival helps many to get better included. And we must constantly work with preventive measures and be close to our celebrators. We have to cooperate with our school nurse staying at school every day, the police concerning crime prevention, the Office of Child Welfare, and with activity leaders in our district to include our newcomers both at school and in their spare time. In the beginning of my presentation, I told you of the importance of the parents and their attitudes. No matter if they are literates or without education, we require them to show interest and facilitate their children's schooling. It is very important to dare to talk to each other and about challenges and problems and discuss cultural and religious customs and prejudices. To be treated with dignity, tolerance and respect will provide greater opportunity for inclusion. Another important factor to success is to ensure that the number of minority students never exceed 50%. At our school, Norwegian should constitute the majority. This will provide good language models and emphasize that it is a Norwegian school with included minorities. Finally, I referred to the words of Mother Teresa, which is an important goal for all employers at Linderud and a prerequisite for success and inclusion in all work with both children and adults. Do you know them? Do you love them? Thank you.